Also, I guess COPPA is a thing to worry about now because YouTube sucks at basically everything except for collecting data for Alphabet to sell. And if you don't know what COPPA is or how terrible YouTube's enforcement of it is, check out this video by Folding Ideas. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be up there. Maybe over there, who knows. But anyway, the whole video got me asking, are my videos made for kids? Who is my target audience? Going off the data that YouTube has kindly taken from some of my viewers, I can see a majority of those who consume my work land in the 18 to 24-year-old range. But that doesn't mean that my videos suit that age group best or that I've specifically targeted that audience. Who would be best enriched by my content? Considering I talk a lot about LGBT issues, mental health, and everyday trials of being a person in this day and age, I think someone under 13 could get quite a bit from my work. Not because I'm pushing an agenda on the poor defenseless youth, but because a lot of kids are questioning their sexuality, gender identity, facing mental health problems, and are simply trying to sort out who they are. Whether or not we want to, individuals under 13 are thinking about this stuff, and hiding it won't make such thoughts disappear. Instead, it makes these topics seem taboo, untouchable, and forces them to fester in silence until they come to a head. There are age-appropriate ways to discuss everything. I'm reminded of Mr. Rogers' clip where assassination, death, and how to deal with them are discussed in a way that a child watching would understand. You don't need to get into the gritty and grotty details to have a conversation about the dark aspects of the human experience. It's still very uncomfortable to talk about, but just as we need to deal with it, so do our children. As Mr. Rogers tells parents after the segment, children need to be included in the coping process, and that might include talking about the subject itself. Children aren't helped by being told topics are only for when they're older because that won't stop whatever turmoil they're encountering at the moment. Telling a child that they're too young to know what death is or to explore their gender identity simply encourages them to hide what they're experiencing and treats their concerns as trivial. I think kids can be helped by seeing someone talk about things like digital self-harm and what it's like to find out you're gay. But then I'm reminded of Degrassi and why they didn't cover suicide until Degrassi High. While doing Degrassi Junior High, the closest they felt they could get to the subject was Stephanie's depression. They didn't feel like their current format and audience were a good fit for such a heavy and sensitive topic, and they weren't sure that they could effectively cover it at the time. Then as their audience and characters entered high school, the team felt that the conditions aligned well enough for them to talk about suicide in the level of detail that they wanted. They probably could have covered it sooner, but not in the in-depth way that was the Degrassi style. Even though they didn't show anything visually graphic, they still dove into the raw emotions that lead a person to it and the varied and intense ways people can react. And when I consider my own content, like with Degrassi, while I don't show anything visually graphic, I do go into details that I don't think would be suitable for someone under 13 years of age because I'm not really speaking to someone in that age group. Some of my most important work have viewer discretion warnings that assume you know enough about how the topic affects you to determine if you should proceed. My work isn't fully intended to be a person's first encounter with the subject at hand, but instead supplementary or future reading material. That's why I don't explain the plot in my media analysis videos. The baseline assumption is familiarity. True, I do have a sort of introduction video on asexuality, but I would consider that to be more of an outlier. I guess while I want kids to be aware and informed about the kind of subjects I cover, I don't think my current repertoire is appropriate to do such a job. I think I'd need to change a lot about how I write and approach topics before I can confidently mark my channel as for kids. In a way, I think my channel is a bit like Degrassi. It exists to explore subjects that you might be considering or facing in your current life stage. Things that you may have heard of, but don't fully get or understand how to think about them. It can act as introductions to the topics at hand, but it isn't designed specifically as such and assumes you have the mental and emotional maturity to explore them in an in-depth manner. It's an interesting topic that I never really considered before. Who are my videos for? I never really had anyone in mind. Sometimes I'm aiming to dispel myths and the misconceptions certain groups hold. Other times I just have an opinion burning a hole in my brain that needs to be expressed. My understanding of who I make content for comes from after-the-fact observation. I guess they're for someone like me who enjoys thinking deeply about the media they consume and believe a world in which we discuss darker elements of the human condition should exist. Someone who has heard terms like agender and asexual thrown around but isn't sure how to approach them. Someone who just wants to be informed and educated enough to defend the opinions they hold about the world around them. Not specifically for musical, anime, or Degrassi fans. Not even for kids. I guess in a way I make videos for myself. Partially because I enjoy their existence, and partially because I think they can help someone like me. In addition to Kappa making YouTube suck, YouTube also sucks about informing subscribers that I make videos still. So instead of relying on YouTube, check out this Discord invite link. There you'll find a content stream of the things that I and my friends make, and also information about the live streams I do and the watch-alongs we do. We recently listened along to Hades Town, and it was fun. And of course, you can talk to me in my NotAVampyre crypt, or you can find me on Twitter at NotAVampyre. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.